Lata Sharma is with you for getting the knowledge by the IGNU, and all time we are with you for getting the knowledge because in BPSC 134 we have given 3 to 4 lectures that is more related to your knowledge and for your wisdom. I think you are getting beneficial aspect to me by which we can be comfortable for getting the international relations and collective security, introduction to international relations, collective security, and we have done, I think, many topics in series of getting the knowledge. So now we are starting with new topic, that is realism. We will discuss on this topic, including in the BPSC 134. This is the topic that will be very important for all type of exams and all type of knowledge. That is realism. Realism. This is a good topic. It comes in international politics and international relations, and it gives more and more background about the countries that are related to each other, on which type of policies, on which type of their nature. Now we are starting with this topic, that what is realism. So now students, my dear students, we are starting with this new topic, what is realism. Realism is considered the most dominant school of thought in international relations. As you are aware, that realism, we can say realism is the most dominant school. Dominant school in which way? That what type, many schools of thought that deals with many ideologies. That is, realism also manage the ideology with the dominance of dominant school, and in international relations, it has a more dominant school of thought. It is an exercise of power by states towards each, and is also known as power politics. It is the exercise of power. That what type of power they want to know. That is exercise of power by states towards each, and is also known as power politics. What for which they everybody is known for, that is power politics. And we can say that in a realism concept, it has come in a real politics. Real politics, it means power politics. Real meaning, we can say, because it is considered the most dominant school of thought, because most important dominance nature it has. So we can say that it is a power exercise of power by states toward each, and is also known as power politics. It is also considered as a real politics. All realists share a belief that states are unitary, rational actors that are motivated by the desire for military power and security rather than ideals or ethics. What is realism? It considered that all realists who have a good ideology related to realism, they have given their belief, they share their belief that states are unitary rational actors. States are who? States are actors that are motivated by the desire for military power. Every state wants to get the military power. They want to make a role for military power and for getting the security rather than ideals or ethics. So this is here it is truly written that every state wants military power and security rather than ideals. Ideals means that they doesn't want to be ideal, they doesn't want to make a play, they doesn't want to role a play as they will be considered as an ideal state. No, they doesn't want to be remain to be in ethics, but want to remain in military power. They want military power, and within this, the securities. As in the last topic, we have given that security. Which type of security? That for getting security or protection. So military power and security rather than ideals or ethics, because ethics and ideals doesn't work in the military power and security. These are the ethics are not considered in a realistic approach, realistic aspect. Realists view human nature as an selfish, because we are discussing about the realistic approach, that is the most dominant school of thought in international relations. And the realist, what they think, that the human nature as selfish. They think that all type of humans have a good nature, that remains that they are selfish in this aspect, that everybody wants military power as a human nature, as a state, and everybody want to be secured by all type of struggles and all type of aggressions. That realists view human nature as selfish, conflictual, and competitive, and believe that states are inherently aggressive. This is a true sense, because in realistic view, the conflictual and competitive human nature is there. And what they believe, that states are inherently aggressive, if we can say offensive in realism, and obsessed with security, defensive realism. What they do, that inherently they are aggressive in nature, by as in selfish, as in conflictual, and in competitive beliefs they have, but inherently they shows that they are offensive in realism and obsessed with security for defensive realism. Which type of defensive realism? Obsessed with security. They want a defensive realism also, offensive also and defensive also. Realism values order and does not welcome change. Students, this is a topic that we are now discussing, that realism does not want any change. So status quo oriented, it means no any change, no transmission, no any transformation, no any revolution, nothing is there to be welcomed, because realism values order, because their orders is related to not to welcome the change. This is that realism, they believe in what is in real, not in ethics, not in ideals. They believe, because this is all type of states towards each, and is also known as power politics. So power politics, it means they consider the politics as in power politics, and they think that this international relations have a important aspect of real politics, that is realism. The word shows that real is related is realism. So the ideology is realism, believes that the realism never welcome the change. It is a status quo oriented. Main thing is here that they believe that offensive realism and defensive realism, offensive by the name, that is they inherently aggressive, and obsessed with security, because they want the defensive realism also. So all this statement cover up that realism is considered the most dominant school of thought in international relations. This is main thing. Then what is realism? We have given this, that, and one thing, that all realists who believes that realists have a great sense, but they want unitary rational actors that are motivated by the desire for military power and security rather than ideals or ethics. Now we will come to the topic, that history of realism. What is the back? What has remained in the back, the past of realism? That we can say that history of realism, that is related to the past. So in IR, the international relations, the history of realism will be covered, because when we doesn't aware about the realism, what is the history and what is the past, what is the background, what has remained in the background in the realism. So The theory of the realism in international relations has been developed throughout the history by famous political philosophers just such as. Now IR has been developed. There is a sense of words that IR, international relations, are developed throughout the history by by which persons? By famous political philosophers such as Thucydides. Who is the person? That is Thucydides, the founder of the school. This is the main person, great philosopher in political relations, and who has given the founder of the school. Who it has remained the founder school. This is the realism has been developed by these philosophers, the political philosophers. The founder of the school is Thucydides, Machiavelli, Thomas Hobbes, and closer to our times in the late 1930s. As because Machiavelli, Thomas Hobbes, and Thucydides has been remain all these timings that realism has been considered in a real form, not in a ethics, not in a beliefs, not in a traditional, and not in a values form. It has remained considered as a real form. So the politics and the international relations between the states, between the countries has been treated in a real form. Real form is that the offensive and the defensive, or these both terms are considered in a realism aspect, and these thinkers and these political philosophers, had given their ideology, their statement, and their theories related to international relations. That is Machiavelli, Thomas Hobbes, and in late in timings that can be more and more in 1930s. And the founder of the school is Thucydides. So history of realism gives the main focus on the philosophers who has given the aspect of realism, who has given this theory of realism that has been developed throughout the history. And we have seen now that realism is considered by these philosophers. So this is, we have given focus on Machiavelli. We will also read about Machiavelli, Thucydides, and Thomas Hobbes. And we can say that these philosophers have remained in a very brutal aspects. They have seen the brutal aspects of state and the relations, and which is not covered by the hearts, by the emotions and feelings. So these philosophers has given the real aspect, real picture, a real mirror of the politics that has been converted in realism. Theories of realism. I have said that the philosophers have given the theories of realism. That is one. The founder of the school is Thucydides. The Thucydides has portrayed as the founder of the school. As we have also discussed, that he has given this aspect that in real, the international politics should be covered in real, not in a emotional and blasting forms. And in his book, what has remained in his book, the history of the Peloponnesian War, he has given his aspect that all type of, he has seen the war, and in history he has given, and he has also mentioned that the main reason for this war was the growth of Athenian power and the fear that this caused in Sparta. As I have said that at that time of when the Thucydides has written this book, he has seen all type of causes, all type of fear, all type of terrible aspect that has grown in her mind as an in reality, real form. So his ideology has become the real ideology, and he has written the same, what he has seen, what he has been faced. So he has written in this all these books, and he mentioned the main reason. This is clear that in his book he has given his ideology, his thoughts, that this war was the growth of Athenian power and the fear this caused Sparta. Athenian power and Sparta, this security dilemma, what they have uh, what they have given the fear, and what the reason has been covered by the Athenian power and the fear. Which type of fear? That is security dilemma fear. So this has been seen, this has been faced by the Thucydides in the aspect of realism. So he has stated, he has given a theory, that is history of the Peloponnesian War. This is Thucydides has given, and why he has given theory, because he has seen it in his past. He has seen his all of the timings is this type of nature. Next is Machiavelli. Realism of Thucydides. The second philosopher is Machiavelli after the Thucydides, who has given his theory related to realism. That is, realism of Thucydides became so popular that until early 1500s, no person could share the status of Thucydides. Thucydides has been remained popular until early 1500, and Machiavelli, and at the time of Thucydides, no person, no, because after his timings, the most timings, that there is no right to any person that he could share the status of Thucydides. In those times, Machiavelli was widely condemned for his cynical advice on the way government should be conducted. As Machiavelli has given his theory related to that government should follow these type of advices, these type of theories, that he has also written in a book, The Prince, in which he introduced many policies of realism. That he has written his book. Who has given this book? Who has written this book? This is The Prince, written by Machiavelli. That written by Machiavelli, The Prince has given and introduced. He has introduced many policies of realism in his book. That is The Prince. And which type of policies he has given, that related to realism, that the king, the most of the system, who they have to follow the aspect of realism, that is related to offensive or defensive also. That is, Machiavelli has given in his book The Prince, and Machiavelli was widely condemned for his cynical advice on the way government should be conducted. He has given a way for that they have to follow, that has been written, they have to follow the theory that has been written in The Prince. So he has introduced many policies of realism. Next is Thomas Hobbes. As we have said that Thucydides, Machiavelli, and Thomas Hobbes. Next, we are now discussing the Thomas Hobbes, a famous philosopher who promoted realism through his writings and introduced realist terms like balance of power, realpolitik. His book Hobbes' Leviathan helped in establishing the modern system of states. Because of timings changes and the philosophies and ideologies has given by the many philosophers on time to time. So Thomas Hobbes is a new person, new philosopher also, and according to Thomas Hobbes, he treats the person, the human nature, as a selfish, as he always fight with each other. They have no feelings, they have no any ethics between each other, the states, between each other, the persons. So he believes in the real form of realism. Through his writings, he introduced realistic terms, balance of power, because he has not given the ideologies related to which type of policies the states has to cover, which type of Vasudev Kutumbakam he has to cover, but he has given that every state wants a balance of power in real politics. Because his book Leviathan, he has given all his ideologies, all his statement in Leviathan, that Leviathan is a true sense in a, is in a true sense book and who this book shows the real picture of these timings. Nothing has to be treated as an imaginess in this book. He has given a, and in for the modern system of states, they can be, they can they can be take the help from this book for the Leviathan, by the Leviathan, because he has given the terms like balance of power. That word has not been given before by the Thomas Hobbes, and this philosopher has more and more promoted realism through his writings. Next, about this Thomas Hobbes, before that Machiavelli, and before that Thucydides. These are the thinkers, philosophers has given the, they have promoted realism through his writings, and in all these philosophers, they all have written their books for getting more and more information, for giving information by for the realism, who has taken positivity in this aspect. Next is E. H. Carr, in a next coming famous historian who launched an attack on liberal principal rights after World War One, because situation has given the picture that has we have seen the World War first, and no liberal ideology should be considered. These type of famous historian and philosophers who believes that realism, the real politics should be considered by in a true sense, because liberal principles have no value in World War One. So he has launched an attack on liberal principles, because liberal principles has not given anything, has not since considered by any philosophers, any state, any person, and any aspect that has become the World War first. So E. H. Carr has launched an attack on liberal principles, because when there is no true sense in real politics, then why all type of liberal we have given emphasis, and we have given pressure on liberal principle. There is no liberal ideology in our international system, according to E. H. Carr. He gave a systematic approach to realistic school of thought and criticized the liberalist approach. In his book 20-Year Crisis, because E. H. Carr has seen all attack, wars, struggle between the states, so his ideology, his philosophy has turned into a systematic approach, that is in a realistic school of thought. That is because Thucydides and Thomas Hobbes has given his thoughts for the realistic approach. So he criticized the liberalist approach, because he doesn't want to be a liberal. He doesn't want that liberal ideology should be followed by the states, because it doesn't show the real picture of the countries. So he criticized the liberal approach, and also he has seen, he has written also in his book, that is 20 Years Crisis, he introduced a critical and cynical concept, that is realism, and placed emphasis on the acceptance of facts and the analysis of their causes and consequences. In his book, because this book gives the real picture at the time of criticality, and what type of realism should be considered by the philosophers, and he give pressure to for acceptance the facts, and to analyze their causes and consequences, because in liberal approach nothing can be considered. If we considered by the realistic school of thought, we will consider the main consequences, main causes and facts that has been accepted by the realistic philosophers. So this is E. H. Carr, who has faced and who has launched an attack on liberal principles right after World War One. He has given his 20 years crisis books, and he also convert his ideology. He has also given emphasis on the ideology of realism and placed emphasis on the acceptance of facts and the analysis of their causes and consequences. Hans J. Markando, the most powerful, realistic philosopher, that is Hans J. Margenthaler. We read about more and about the Margenthaler, and the Margenthaler has been a real thinker in a realistic approach. So Hans J. Margenthaler, his theories is very much helpful in getting the real picture of the international relations between the states. So Margenthaler is known for systematizing classical realism. He has given a systematized classical realism because theory is based on classical realism. One of his most famous works include Politics Among Nations. What type of politics among nations? He include the works done by the states, by the nations, that which type of politics should be considered among the nations, which became the standard textbook and continued to be reprinted after his death. His work, Politics Among Nations, because that book has been treated as a standard textbook, and he continued, and this book in real has been continued to be printed after his death, because this book has got a famous phenomena, a famous scenario by which every state became aware by the systematizing classical realism of Hans J. Margenthaler. Hans J. Margenthaler presented a theory of international politics which is based on the following 6 points. His theory has been based, the Margenthaler has given Politics Among Nations, this is the book, and his theory has been based on 6 points, that is the base of international relations among the states. One is the IR, the international relation is governed by laws that have their roots in human nature. On which statements Margenthaler wants to say that IR is governed by laws, because if international relations is not governed by the laws and regulations, that laws and regulation that have their roots in human nature, they doesn't want to make any law that has not roots in human nature. The human nature should be aware of any type of laws and regulations and policies that international relations wants to govern. Then one thing that is the main aspect which help him to getting more and more famous, because he has given his statement that laws should be remain on the roots of human nature. Second is, states have particular interest to maximize power. Every state want to engage. Every state engage in interest. Which type of interest? To maximize power. This is a true aspect of realism. That every state, every nation, every relations wants to. They engaged in getting the interest. They always remain interested in which type of working, that is to maximize power. Main aspect, that is maximize power, is the main work of states by the Hans J. Margenthaler based international politics, which is the second point. And the next third is interest of states are permanent. This is also a real politic sense that interest of states are permanent, because every state has a permanent interest, that is to maximize power and to attack on the countries and to get the colony upon the countries. This is the interest of all states, and they have a permanent nature, all type of the states has this is the permanent states of the permanent interest of the states, that is to get a maximize powerful country. States are the only actors in IR, that is who is the main actor in the international relations, that are states, because every state plays a role. Which type of role? That they have a relation between each other of the countries, between the states, between the nations, and in IR the states has to consider what type of their interest, what type of their nature, what type of their maximizing power or minimizing power, what they want to work in international relation platform. That is, states are the only actors in IR. Everything, every scenario is based on states. States can be covered in all type of workings. Next is, there is no universal code of ethics or morality. As we have also, I have also said that in realistic approach, when the wars has begun, the struggle started with the between each of the countries, then there is no universal code of ethics or morality. As in many type of events, many type of wars and many type of struggles, we have seen that ethics and or morality does not covered by any country when there is a attacking nature has been started. When any type of attack, nobody, no any state thinks about the ethics or morality and no any universal code, because many examples are there related to Saddam Hussein, Iraq, related to Ukraine, Russia, related to Cuba, and related to USSR. There are more and more examples that has remained that there is no universal code of ethics or morality. Next is, politics is autonomous. It has its own rules and principles which are different from ethics and morality. This is also a very important thing, that politics is autonomous. Politics has no any boundaries, no any ruler upon them. It has its own rules and principles which are different from ethics and morality. Because when there is a politics related to international relations, related to realistic approach, the philosophers think that there is no rules and principles which are different from ethics and morality, because in the rule and principles the ethics and morality should be covered, but when there is a bad timings, where is a struggling timing start, there is no any rules and principles is covered by the states as an in covering aspect of ethics and morality. So Hans J. Margenthau has given 6 aspects that is based on international politics, and his book Politics Among Nations has become more and more important for getting the knowledge of international relations in terms of Margenthau. Margenthau's 6 points is, international relations is governed by the laws that have their roots in human nature. Second is, state have particular interest to maximize power. State are the only actors in IR. There is no universal code of ethics or morality, as we have said. Politics is autonomous. It has its own rules and principles which are different from ethics and morality. These are the 6 principles, these are the 6 points that Hans Morgenthau has given in his classical realism theory. Branches of realism, as because realism can be divided in forms that can be classical realism, it can be neo-realism, it can be offensive realism, and it can be defensive realism. So branches of realism, because philosophers has been given many aspects of ideology, many terms of ideology that has they have beliefs and they are shared. So the philosopher has also divided in many branches. So this is, they have divided his ideology, they have changed his ideology as an according to classical realism, as an according to neo-realism, as an according to offensive realism and defensive realism also. This is branches of realism. We are covering now that what is classical realism. Classical realism, because we have also discussed the Hans J. Morgenthau classical realistic approach. That classical realism is given by Hans J. Morgenthau. That is a conservative theory that considers states the only actors and giving importance to military power and maximization of power. Classical realistic approach and classical realistic philosophers think about only that they considers that only actors is states, giving importance to military power and maximization of power. What they want maximization of power, no any place for ethics and values and cultures. So this is classical realism that gives the classical aspect of realism, and it is a orthodox and conservative theory. Conservative theory, it gives importance to the actors and maximization of power and for the military power. Classical realism. Next is neo-realism, a theory developed by Kenneth Waltz, in which states seek to survive within an anarchical system, international structure. Now, after the classical realism, neo-realism comes. What he wants to define, he wants to define the Kenneth Waltz has defined, and he also developed a theory in which states seek to survive within an anarchical system. What they want to do, they want to prefer, they want to share, they have a belief in anarchical system. Anarchical system, that is, they believe in anarchy in international structure. Neo-realism has changed his aspect, he's changed his expressions about the realism, that is neo-realism after the classical realism of Hans J. Morgenthau. There is a change has been seen, that we can say that neo-realism also wants to cover up the anarchical system, and classical realism wants to a military power, and they think that the states have a sense of maximization of power. Next is offensive realism. What type of realism now comes in the international platform? That is offensive realism. Those who argue that states are power maximizers, they have given attack on the theory that is offensive realism. They want to argue that type of philosophers that the states that type of philosopher that thinks that states are power maximizers, that the states has a sense only to getting the power, to getting the collective power, and they want to maximize its power, strength in international relations aspects. Offensive realism. That is, second is defensive realism. Those who argue that states are security maximizers. Defensive realism, who considered that type of philosopher have given in their aspect of defensive. They have given their theory of realism. They want a new theory should be arise. A new theory and new ideology should be accepted by the international politics and in international politics, in international relations. That is those who argue that states are security maximizer. What they want security. In defensive realism, there is a true sense in change that besides of getting the power, they have given their agreement, given their yes to security, for getting the security. And for this, the collective security aspect has been covered, because the defensive realism states who think that defensive realism ideology should be accepted, they have given the security maximizer, who they have given importance to security rather than power. This is the branches of realism, that is classical realism, neorealism, offensive realism, and defensive realism. The 3S of realism. 3S is, what type of S is considered in realism? That is, statism is the centerpiece of realism. Statism. That this involves two claims. First, for the theorist, the state is the preeminent actor and all the other actors in world politics are the lesser significance. State, the theorist, the thinkers, the philosophers has given that 3S. What type of S? First, S is to be considered as statism. What is statism? What the statism covered? The what is the statism? What to say? That state is the preeminent actor and all other actors in the world politics are of lesser significance. That state has the more and more importance rather than all type of actors in world politics, and they have lesser significance rather than statism. Second is state sovereignty. First S is statism. Second S is sovereignty. The sovereignty signifies the existence of an independent political community. Sovereignty, specifically, this word signifies the existence of independent political community. Which type of community? That is political community, and that is independent, not dependent. Sovereignty covers with the existence of independent political community, one that has judicial authority over its territory. The sovereignty has a juridical authority over its territory. So one is statism and second is, one S is statism and second S is sovereignty. The key criticism of second sovereignty, that is, statism is flawed on both empirical challenges to state power from above and below, and normative grounds, the inability of sovereign states to respond to collective global problems such as famine, environmental degradation, and human rights abuses. There is a statism is flawed on both empirical challenges to state power from above and below, and normative ground, the inability of sovereign states to respond to collective global problems. What is the work of sovereignty? Inability of sovereign states, that is to respond to collective global problems such as famine, environmental degradation, and human rights abuses. The 3S, the third S is of realism is survival. The primary objective of all states is survival. The primary objective of all states is survival. This is the supreme national interest to which all political leaders must adhere. Survival. What type of survival is there considered? That realism want a third S. He has given third S, that is survival. Which type of survival? The primary objective of all states is survival. This is the supreme national interest to which all political leaders to which all political leaders wants. Which type of survival? That to remain as an competitive, to remain as an strengthful, to remain as an colonial, to remain as an leader, superpower in international relation. Key criticism. Are there no limits to what actions a state can take in the name of necessity? In a survival sense, if we criticize these survival as of third S of survival, that is no limit of actions a state can take in the name of necessity, because as in the name of survival there is no limit can be considered in the name of necessity, that there is a necessity of survival, and then any type of action can be created by the states in the in the place of survival. This is the 3S of realism, and survival is the most important because every country wants a supreme national interest to which all political leaders remain interested. The 3S of realism, that is self-help. Next is self-help. No other state or institution can be relied upon to guarantee your survival. That no other state wants to, or institution want to be relied upon the guarantee of your survival. No any state can give the guarantee. So self-help is a real S of international politics, international relation, that no any institution can give you the guarantee that your survival will remain continue or not. You have to give the self-help. Nobody can give a guarantee of your survival. Key criticism. Self-help is not an inevitable consequences of the absence of world government. It is a logic that states have selected. Moreover, there are historical and contemporary examples where states have preferred collective security system or forms of regional security communities in preference or to self-help. If we say that the consequences of self-help, what type of consequences we can think? That there is no logic about the states that state can select, and no any historical and contemporary examples where states have preferred collective security system or forms of regional security communities in preference of to self-help. So 3S of realism in which we have discussed, that is self-help. Self-help is 3S of realism, and realism is the real politics in international relations. Self-help is a true phenomena, true aspect by which the state can face the real picture of their identity. Now, comparison of realism and liberalism, that we have also discussed. The realism, Henry Morgenthau, Hobbes, Machiavelli, Thucydides, and now there is a liberal aspect. Liberal thinkers and liberal philosophers has also come in the aspect of realism. So difference between what the realism think and what the liberal philosophers thinks, there is a comparison. Realism, what is the realist philosophers given their views? States are the only actors at international level. Realism has given that states are the only actors at international level. Second is states are regional actors and aim for their self-interest or relative gain. States are regional actors and aim. They want only their self-interest and related gain. Which is their interest? They want a gain related to them that is states want. Next is realists believe in maximizing military power in order to achieve peace and security. The main picture of realism is this, that they believe only maximizing military power, not in a liberal sense they want anything, in order to achieve peace and security. Besides of peace and security, they want that the power should be increased, not decreased, in realism aspect. Next is realists believe in the concepts of armament. States should have arms and weapons for self security. I think that the Hans J. Margento has said in his book Politics Among Nations that this is the main picture, this is the main mirror that he wants to show us. That is, realists believe in the concept of armament, and they should have arms and weapons for self-security. He has focused, he has given total glimpse that for the self-security they have, the states, the nations can have arms and weapons. And it has started a new era, that is atomic energy and atomic bomb and all type of weapons and chemical weapons, and that they have given their mentality that they have make all these weapons for self security. This is the real picture of realism, that realism wants to make the maximizing the military power, not to peace and security. According to realist, international system is anarchic in nature. Anarchic in nature, the realist international system is not considered. That realism is based on that which type of anarchic, that should be maximizing the power, the strength, the super powers. So these are the difference between the realism. Now we have to come on the difference between realism and liberalism. This is liberalism. States are not the only actors. Other actors as individuals. MNCs also play an important role. Because of liberalism, there is a difference between liberalism and realism. That is, there are the states, not only the actors. In the realism, there is only one actor, that is a state. First difference. States are not the only actors. Other actors as individuals, IOs, MNCs also play an important role. There is no requirement of state for becoming a part of liberal state. There is many other actors in this platform. States are not rational actors. They aim for absolute gain. There is a huge difference between the liberalism and the liberalism. The realism show the real picture of the international politics, which now face that which we every everybody time everybody every time faces. And now liberalism is another thing. Liberal attitude and ideology is covered in liberalism. States are not rational actors. They aim for absolute gain. Liberalists believe that security can be achieved by cooperation, mutual gaining, applying moral and ethical principles. Liberalist is liberal attitude, liberal ideology. What they want? They believe, they think that their theory is that security can be achieved by cooperation. They have think that cooperation is also a part of liberal ideology. Mutual gaining. What type of mutual gaining? Every country can do the trade between each other. They can be more and more. They can get more and more development by each other trading, doing the trades, and applying moral and ethical principles. Now, if we can say that the international scenario is interested in this liberal attitude, that is, liberalists believe that security can be achieved by cooperation, mutual gaining, applying moral and ethical principles. Which type of principle? That is moral and ethical principles. Because any country, no any country wants to be more and more powerful. Besides then, they believe in the thinking, the ideology that cooperation and mutual gaining and ethical and cultural aspect is more important for rather than realistic approach. Because realistic approach is not a has not faces a good era. So liberal aspect can do better rather than realistic approach. Next is liberalists believe in the concept of disarmament for self-security, that is cooperation. Liberal ideology and liberal attitude has a very cooperative attitude they have. And what they want? They doesn't want any armament. They doesn't want any weapons. They doesn't want any type of atom test. They believes in the disarmament, as like CTBT, comprehensive test ban treaty, as in Asian countries and South Asian countries believes. That is disarmament for self-security. Example, that is, this is cooperation. Cooperation is the main armament for their security. That is the liberalist thing. According to liberalist, international system is community based. What the liberals thinks? The international system is community based, because when there is three type of this developed, developing, or developed and developing countries. The liberalists think that the developing countries is a community based states. Then community based states doesn't want to make any type of war and attack on the countries, and there is no any interest in getting the weapons. So liberalist international system is community based. What type of based? They want a communized system, that is cooperation, ethical principles, mutual gaining, applying moral and ethical attitude. That is, they doesn't want absolute gain, but not as in rational actors, as like in realism. They also they have a many actors in on the platform, that is international platform, that is individuals, IOs and MNCs, multinational companies. They also play an important role in liberalism. Yeah, otherwise liberal aspect, the philosopher of liberal ideology has given that these all type of liberal attitudes has a importance. Criticism. The theory of realism is criticized on the following points. It does not talk about change and status quo oriented. It gives a lot of importance of our military power and ignores other forces, ethics, and economic power. Focused on already constructed realities and doesn't think critically. Talks about international relations in terms of maximizing power, non-cooperation, and wars. And it gives a lot of importance to military power and ignores other forces like ethics, economic power. Focused, they gives the maximizing power and non-cooperation and wars. This is conclusion, we can say it gives complete description and explanation of international events, like unlike liberalism, which is restricted to only moral and ethics. It gives a more realistic and practical approach as compared to liberalism to understand IR. It helps in predicting human nature and behavior, which helps in predicting possible outcomes of cooperation among states. So, this is the conclusion. Now, we can say this is all we have discussed, that is realism, and it is very important to us. Thank you very much.